or trying to spread to mankind the greatest truth ever given the earth, or that can ever come, to think that there are those in human forms who could be so depraved as to blame him or make false pretenses or accusations against him, just because they were not willing to give obedience. Oh, blessed ones, I rejoice with every one of you who have been strong enough to stand in this great light and call to yourself your own. The light is your own, and all this perfection which stands before you is yours. It was only waiting for the day when you would give it recognition and acceptance. Make the call in your application with sufficient determination in your feelings to release this infinite power, to give you your perfect bodies, to give you courage and strength, then in its great continuous release, set you free from every limitation. Beloved ones, I am sure you feel this with me tonight as you never have in your life, because this is only released once. You will never receive again this exact radiation which is here tonight. So, you are fortunate indeed who are here. Then, after a few hours I went forth. I do not find any better word than assimilation to give you the idea of that which followed my disappearance from the human octave. There were about 42 hours of assimilation until I began to feel the full power of my being. I wanted to go hither and thither and find out a lot of things, but the great wisdom of those about me said, there is no hurry. You now have all eternity before you. As our blessed Frank has learned to say, just take it easy. So, I took it easy, and within a few hours I realized how great that wisdom had been. I cannot go into the explanation tonight, someday perhaps I shall. Then the day came when they said, now, do as you like, and you would be surprised if I were to tell you just where I went. To find myself suddenly free from all limitations, to go where I pleased and in whatever, now notice this, whatever vibratory action I chose. Can you believe it? I still wanted to find out what was above the octave where I was. So, I began going up, and up, and up. I do not know how far I went, but in each octave I found everything within that vibratory action just as tangible in its higher rate of vibration as the one below it. That was the thing which troubled me all my life, and I had to find it out. My delight knew no bounds. Once my father, when I was a lad about 14, touched upon this. It was very seldom he ever struck that particular mood, but this day, we had just finished dinner and he started to talk, to my utter amazement, because he was a very quiet man. He seemed to be directing most of his attention to me. Today, I know he was being prompted by one of the great masters at the time. I am sure he did not know it, but I now know that was what was actually taking place. So he said, son, do you ever think about what is beyond this octave of life? I wanted to say to him, did you ever, but I did not dare do it. He went on and said, somehow I know there are many octaves above this physical one, and somehow, I know that each octave has its own vibratory action of substance. Well, my astonishment knew no bounds and I said, Father, do you actually think that? He replied, not only do I think it, but I know it. I cannot tell you how I know it or why, but I know that. He went on for some time and all of a sudden he stopped, and try as we might, we could never draw him back into that discussion again. I can never tell you how I wanted to get him to talk about it again. Again I say to you, the light within my own heart, although I did not know a thing about it at that time, knew and accepted the words he spoke as the truth. Today, I am sure as I am talking to you this minute, it was the preparation. He was inspired to call my attention to it for that which followed afterwards. There is no question about it. So, do you not see, beloved ones, how you are having the greatest privilege in the entire universe by having all of this great amount of understanding, application, and law of life given you? It has been tremendous. Remember, dear ones, if it had not been for the great, urgent need and the command of the great cosmic light, so much would not have been given. Do you realize that this great amount of truth which has been given is unparalleled in the history of the earth? In past ages, when people sought this truth all over the world, they were taken in on probation. They were eased along like a small infant learning to walk, but today you are all jumping in with both feet and swimming well. Why? Notice why, dear ones. This is important. Why are you able to swim so well? Because of this mighty radiance from the ascended masters, the cosmic beings, and the cosmic light. You would not swim nearly so well if it was not for their presence, do not forget that. Oh, the blessing of the presence of those great ones is beyond anything in the world. Never forget it for one moment. Mankind would be helpless and lost today if it were not for their presence and mighty radiation which they release. Tonight, I want you to rejoice with me, and as you contemplate in the future my words and my own experience related to you tonight, oh, may you feel it. Oh, feel it. Feel it. With its great reality, until your whole being glows with that light from within, so its very radiance becomes visible in your physical form. Oh, feel it in the full glory of its infinite power, and let its great, its almighty, perfect activity go on and on. You have the greatest friends on earth, the ascended masters, who will never criticize you, condemn you, nor say to you, "Why haven't you done this or that?" But just in their great love, kindness, and radiation pour it forth and await your obedience, to the extent that its great perfection begins to find expression within, about you, and in your world of activity, to bless you forever with its ever-intensifying perfection. Charging you in your world with the glory of the mighty I Am in its full power and action through the human form. Then, no longer will human disease and disturbance act, no longer will problems exist, no longer will illness be, no longer will imperfections be, but the glory of your presence will be in full command of all that is. Blessed ones, tonight, the light in your hearts right now is all there is. When the human form, the feeling, gives obedience to that light within, it expands, all human imperfection ceases to be, and you become the God of light, the Goddess of light. Out of the fullness of the light of your heart floods forth its perfection into your being, into your physical body, and by that firm, unyielding stand to and with your presence, call with such firm determination, that all things of human creation yield to the power of your call. As that great light releases and pours forth, know you are no longer a being held by the activities of your own creation, but you are a free being, who has cut asunder the chains of your own forging. And as they drop away, you stand forth the commander of your own world, a being of light. I thank you.